Welcome to These Are the Blades of Our Lives, the figure skating show where I talk to you about figure skating like it is drama for our mamas. And today we are recapping, and we will be starting this recap with Skate Canada. Skate Canada was both surprising and predictable. And if I wanted to say what surprised me, I would have to start with pairs. The winners here were Leah Pereira and Trent Machard. The biggest surprise that pairs, I think, had to give me this season. I did not see this one coming. I did not have it on my bingo chart, but there it was. In second place was Diana Stiletto and Maxime Deschamps. In third place was Kellyanne Lauren and Lucas Ethier. In fourth place was Eva Camp and Jonathan Elizarov. And then in fifth place was Jasmine DeRocher and Kira Thrasher. And then the surprise sixth place skaters, whom I found so interesting, and I cannot wait to see them on the junior circuit next season, was Menu Yunuki and Tristan Taylor. Starting with Menu and Tristan, she's so bubbly and cute. She is so bubbly and cute. And he just seems so nice and composed. And I always like it in the kiss and cry when the pairs are sort of opposite of each other. And this is the first time I'm noticing them at Canadian Nationals. I don't know if they've competed before. They were so composed. And for this being such a major stage and for them to have been so calm, they delivered everything they needed to deliver. Yeah, it wasn't 100%, but I was just so impressed with their composure. I love the vibe that they have. I'm the kind of watcher. I like when the skaters seem to be enjoying skating and they also seem to be enjoying each other, and they sort of had that vibe, like they enjoy being with each other and they enjoy skating. So I'm really going to be looking forward to them on the junior circuit next season. Jasmine and Kieran, I think it was more continuation of what we've seen from them all season, which is just a lack of consistency in all the elements literally across the board, with the exception of the list, which is really their strongest elements. Everything else was, kind of a struggle. And I'm thinking, I don't think they're going to go back to junior next year. I think next year will be the year that they transition fully to senior. And I just don't know where I would put them in this current field when they do transition to senior. It's going to be very interesting. Then Ava and Jonathan, who probably will also transition completely to senior next year. Now, they're more consistent. They were very strong on the junior circuit this year, way more consistent. Their elements across the board are very good. They had two very presentable, not perfect, but very presentable showing here. What I will say about this pair is they have those classic all European type, American type, Canadian type pairs feel to them. So they're very classic, very traditional, which I think if they could be consistent in their element would really help them in terms of like the GOEs and the PCS with the judges. I think the judges would go with them if they happen to be consistent and clean. Kelly Ann and Lucas, for me, are officially national skaters. They always have their best outing at nationals, either a fabulous short and an okay long, or an okay short and a fabulous long. They seem to really come out and deliver in the nationals. Most skaters usually are like incredibly nervous and nationals just doesn't go so well for them. They are the pair where national is where they really just have their moment. Unfortunately, they don't perform as well internationally. because none of their elements are really wow. Their packaging really needs to be worked on some more next season. And the judges also don't really go with them in terms of the GOE and the PCS, but they are always consistent at nationals. Then the surprise that came and kicked me in the head like it was a donkey that I had stolen money from was Diana and Max here. First of all, you guys know the entire season I have been screaming on a lonely mountain that I want Donner-Moi Oxygen to come back. I have been very apparent about that desire. What I will say is, even though she had a step out at this competition in the short program, this was the first event where I really felt something from their short program, where I sort of had a little bit of an understanding of what it was they were trying to achieve with this short program. I didn't quite get it the entire season. The backflip in the middle wasn't doing anything for me. But here at Nationals, I was at the edge of my seat. Like, yes, okay, I see it. It wasn't clean, but I saw it. And then we got to the long program, and oh my gosh. I would say at this point, they're no longer a contender for the Olympic medal. They're not in that conversation anymore. And I don't even think they're in the conversation for a medal of any color. And that is not something that I would have said at the beginning of this season. But now I feel like they're no longer a contender for the medal. Best case scenario would be a 4th place finish. No, dream scenario would be a 4th place finish. Best case scenario would be a 6th place finish. Realistic scenario would be a top 10 finish. Is where I'm seeing them now. And I'm not saying this because I don't think they can have 2 incredible programs at the Olympic. That's not why I'm saying this. The reason why I'm saying this is because skating is reputation based. You literally build slowly. The judges get confident in you, and then they're willing to give you these huge scores. They have not built this entire season. And so I feel like when they go into the Olympic and the individual event, even if they have the best short program that they've had all season or their entire career, I don't think the judges are going to give them the score, because the judges are going to be like, they might not have it together in the long program. So I think they've dug themselves a hole that I don't think the judges are going to allow them to dig themselves out. And that's why I don't think they're going to be in that conversation for the Olympic. That is not what I wish. You guys know how much I absolutely adore Diana. I think she epitomized everything that I want to see in this sport, which is skaters not retiring, not giving up on their dreams, coming back regardless of how long it's taken, and finding another path with another discipline to continue the dream of skating. You guys know how much her story and her as a person means to me. I would love nothing more than for Diana to be on that Olympic podium. You know, I am a huge fan of the diva that is Diana Dudek. It's just that I don't see it given the political inclination of figure skating. I hope that I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. I will be lighting all the candles so that I am wrong. But that's my take on where they are less than a month going into the Olympic. And then the winners here, Leah and Trent, their first national title. I said it all season, I really like that short program on them. I think it fits so well. I had also said all season that I really didn't get their long program. I didn't get what they were trying to tell. And so the decision that they made to go back to their last season long program, the Gladiator program, made so much sense. You could tell they were a lot more comfortable in that program. They understood the story they were trying to tell. They were projecting that story. I think this was a very wise decision. Again, they weren't perfect here, but I feel like they're moving in the right direction. Again, they're also not a contender for any medals at the Olympic, but a top 12 finish, a top 10 finish for this pair, even a top 8 finish for this pair is not out of the question, and that would be amazing. And then the men. The men were a little more predictable for me in terms of how it plays out, but nonetheless, I was really biting my nails for both the men long program and the short program. So the winner here was, of course, Steven Gugilev. In second place was Roman Sadatsky. In third place was Alaska Raki. In fourth place was Wesley Chu, coming back from injury. Then in fifth place, Keegan Messing. And then rounding up the top 6 was John Kim, who had a very good outing for him at this event. Now, starting with Keegan Messing, his coming back the year of the Olympic, which I think in general just rubs people the wrong way, and I completely understand why it would rub people the wrong way. You literally had like 3 years to come back. You waited the last year. Like, what are we really doing? I completely got it. I feel about Keegan Messing coming back the same way I feel about the Shibatani siblings coming back, which is, what is the purpose of this comeback? Is it just, like a cash grab, a last hooray because it's an Olympic year? Or is this to build a foundation for the next Olympic cycle or for a continuation? So that's really my question. I mean, if Keegan came back to be 5th at nationals, then I really have to question, like, why? But if Keegan is coming back because he plans on continuing and this was just him testing the waters, then I could understand. Both of his programs were basic Keegan program. It's what we've seen from him throughout his entire career. It was nothing to write home about. There were glimpses of his former self in some of his jumps. He still has that superpower knee that allows him to save jumps that other skaters absolutely would not be able to. But I really want to see where this is going and what was the purpose of this. Wesley impressed me so much. That short program was probably one of the best short program of his career. And for him to be able to do that short program after coming back from injury, from surgery, really showed me how much work and effort and diligence he is putting into this, and I really appreciate it. I've always liked Wesley as a skater. I think, he has all of the elements there. It's just never come together for him. The long program, I think it's just a stamina issue. He's coming back from injury. He just didn't have it in him. But from what we saw in the short program, I feel like if he continues, he definitely could get there. So I was very happy for Wesley. Aleska, I think I've said all season, I'm so impressed with his choice of music this season. Both pieces of music is so interesting, which I don't know if it's the people who are picking the music for him that have such interesting tastes, or if it's a representation of his unique taste. And I like it a lot. He's also one of those skaters that has the full package of jumps. It's just that he's never been able to put it together and deliver cleanly. I do think there's a possible, Canadian national title in his future, depending on who retires, on who stays, and if he's able to put all his jumps together. We would just have to wait and see. Roman, this was your redemption season. Everything that you could possibly have done this season, you did. You fought with everything you had. I've never seen the quad style and quad toe look so good from you. The triple axels look better than I've seen them on you in years. You did not give up on the short program or the long program. You came into this event like a skater who wanted to go to the Olympic, and you did everything you could. so that the Olympic Committee could send you to the Olympic. You should be so proud. As someone who's been on the journey of Roman Sadowski, I was so happy to see you skate these two programs, and I was so proud that you did this for yourself, and I hope you continue, because there is something wonderful about your skating. There are just moments of brilliance in your skating that I enjoy so much, and I would love to see, for a couple more years, if that's where your journey takes you. If you feel like you've done everything you needed to do, then this is definitely a high of high to retire on. Whichever path you decide to do, I was so happy to be part of that journey. And then Steven Gugolev, another skater. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I've been as emotionally invested in Steven as I have been in Roman. I haven't. But he is a skater that I have watched from the juniors. And when he was in the juniors, way more than Ilya, it was Steven that was considered to be the phenom of all phenom. He literally had almost all of his quads as a junior. And then puberty hit, and then it hit again, and it hit again, and it hit again. Every season, this poor kid would grow and grow and grow. And the injuries of him trying to get used to this new body, we literally watched him. He was never smiling. He was so sad to come from that high of high where all expectation was on you, and then to struggle through so many years. It shows what character this young man has. He didn't give up. He didn't let go. He continued. He persisted. And now he's going to the Olympic. Now he's going to the Olympic. And this is what I want. These are the champion-like stories that I come to this sport for. People that feels like fully fleshed out human beings whom I can root for, whom I can get behind. Oh my God. Oh, I was so happy. I was so happy. I'm so happy for Steven. He came here. He did what he had to do. That short program, he was on fire. The long program, he did what he needed to do. And I cannot take anything away from him. Congratulations on making the Olympic team. Then ice dance. Ice dance was pleasantly the way that I wanted it to go. And first place was Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier. In second place was Marjorie Lejoie and Zachary Lega. And in third place, my beloved Marie-Gide Laurent and Romain Laga are going to the Olympic. In fourth place was Alicia Fabry and Paul Ayer. And fifth place was Allison Robinson and Jacob Potts. And sixth place was Lily Henson and Nathan Licker. Before I get to the top people, there are just some upcoming teams that I am very much invested in. I will start with Amanda Urban and Peter Beaumont. This was not the outing that they wanted. The rhythm dance really... it was just messy. But in that free dance, there were just moments between Amanda and Peter that just gave me the feeling that this pair has that potential. With enough time, when they begin to gel together, when they begin to really learn each other, when they could almost sense where the other person is instead of trying to look for the other person. Their beautiful lines, their musicality, all their connection with each other, all of that, when you combine it with the tangible skating skills, oh, there's potential in this pair. There is potential in this pair. I was also very impressed by Sandrine Gutierrez and Quentin Terran. They are sassy. This is a sassy little young pair. I definitely see them making their way up the ranks slowly but surely. And the same thing for Chloe Nguyen and Brendan Jean. This pair match each other incredibly well in terms of their posture, in terms of their lines, in terms of their skating skill, the edge quality. Everything about this pair matches incredibly well. So I was very happy with some of these, top 12 pairs and how well they perform. Now, for the top 4 pairs, Alicia and Paul, Mr. Boombastic. I actually respect them a lot for deciding to pick that particular song. In a rhythm dance where everybody and their mama was doing Britney Spears or Backstreet Boys, to decide to go with Shaggy is such a bold decision. I don't necessarily think that rhythm dance suited them 100%, but I respected the fact that they went there. Again, their free dance is generically lovely. Nothing dislike about it. It is what it is. But the pair that made me the most happiest at US Nationals was without a doubt Marie-Jurde Laurent and Romain Lagat. As you guys know, I am a huge fan of this pair. I think they're so unique. I think they're so just honest to whom they are as skaters. And for me, it's always so pleasant to watch skaters that have a point of view, that have an identity, that has something to say. I'm a huge fan of that. And I felt like the last season, that Olympic dream was just slipping away from them. And I was like, no, I wanted them to go to the Olympic so very badly. And to have them come back this season with two very uniquely them programs, with some of the coolest lift I think that ice dance pairs are doing. And for them to be able to go to the Olympic, it was great. I still hate her free dance costume. The snake looked like something you would get from a 99-cent store. But even with that hideous snake, they still charmed me. That just goes to tell you how incredibly charismatic this pair is. And then we get to Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Lagat. This is the pair that I really, for them and for many other young pair, I really want this Olympic cycle to be done, for Worlds to be done, for the people who are going to retire to retire. We're going to miss them. We love them. Thank you very much. For us to start fresh and see where the chips will fall. This was a pair that I really felt like the whole restriction of the rhythm dance really didn't suit their strength. The fact that it was 90s and it had to be a beat. The thing about going viral is the harder you try to go viral, the less the general public is going to bite. Things that go viral are usually just organic. And I feel like the International Skating Union, ISU, is so desperate to go viral that it's just literally sucking the life out of the sport. We didn't need a 90s super hyper theme. We really didn't. We really could have just done a little ballroom, a little salsa, a little waltz, and we probably could have gone viral without trying. And I feel like Marjorie and Zach, my Lala couple, is one of those pairs. Maybe if you didn't have those stupid restrictions, probably could have done something great with the rhythm dance. That aside, they have gone back to one of their best free dance, and I love it. They look exquisite in that free dance because it showcases their skating skills, their edge, their control. You could tell this is a pair that has grown with each other. This is what I'm talking about when a pair can sense each other without having to look to where the partner is. They have been in sync for so long that they feel it. You could see them reaching for each other without having their eyes on one another. I really adore this pair, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the next 4 years. Hopefully they get rhythm dances that make sense, and they are able to create programs that really allows them to let us see how talented they really are. And then Piper and Paul. Yes, Canada, let's inflate those scores. Inflation at nationals is the way it goes. I'm a huge fan of Piper and Paul. They were one of the pairs that I felt was so incredibly unique at the beginning of their career, and the judges penalized them for not fitting into the box that was acceptable for their time. And I've always adored them for that. The rhythm dance, it is what it is. I've accepted it. But the free dance is absolutely lovely. The Vincent program, it's my favorite type of ice dance, which is storytelling, which is creating these beautiful visual image. The packaging is beautiful. They look beautiful. I feel moved. It's a beautiful program skated by two beautiful individuals. Very happy with that program. And then finally, the women. I do have some things to say. The winner here was Madeline Skizas. Oh, why am I always messing up your poor name, Madeline? I am very sorry. And second place was Gabrielle Delman. And third place was Minso Kwan. And fourth place was Megan Woodley. And fifth place was Lulu Len. And sixth place was Reese Rose. And then we had some other skaters that I thought would be higher on some lower level, like Yulia Shuryeva was in 11th place. I thought she would be higher. Kaya Rutter was in 9th place. I thought she would be higher. And then, of course, my beloved Sarah Maud Dupree was in 8th place. I thought she should be higher just for the girthiness of her jumps. She has one of my favorite short programs this season. She has given you attitude. And then she tried to give you a triple axel in the long program. What else do you want from her? And I just love her jumps. Her jumps have so much power, so much speed, so much ice coverage. Unfortunately, the jumps are kind of all over the place, so the consistency is not what it needs to be. Now, in the top 6, another skater that I was very pleasantly surprised with the girthiness of her jump was Reese Rose. Oh my gosh! She was jumping from the hip, from the knee, from the legs, from the thighs. You guys know how much I adore me some girthy jumpers in the women. You know how much I hate tiny little pre-rotated jumps that barely get off the ice. So when you see these skaters and they're jumping and you see them moving from point A and not to point B but all the way to point F, you know I am watching and I am happy and excited. So I'm really looking forward to this Reese Rose to see what she does moving forward. I was very pleasantly surprised. Then to the podium here, I do feel like Minso Kwan won this event. She had the best short program and she had the best long program. And technically her technical components were the highest in both segments. And in a realistic, honest, we're going to go based on what the athlete did in the moment, she would have won. But again, there's so much politics going on in figure skating. And we have to take many factors into account. 1, Minso is not age eligible. 2, she doesn't have Canadian citizenship. So in terms of Canada's mindset, they had no incentive to give her this national title. When A, she wasn't old enough to go to the Olympic, and B, even if she was old enough, she didn't have Canadian citizenship, so she couldn't represent them. So I understood perfectly well why Minso was put in third place here when in reality she won this event. It didn't make it right, but in the context of figure skating, I understood it. Now to Miss Gabrielle Delman. I'm like a witch. You can't kill me. That's right. She's not the evil witch of the West. She was not melting. She was coming back stronger and stronger. That's right, Gabby. You let them know. I'm sorry. I get it. Figure skating is a wealthy upper middle class sport, and there's a certain concept of the young ladies that are supposed to be in figure skating, and that's this demure reserve. We get it, but at the same time it is a sport. These young women are wasting their youth, their energy, their health, their life. I do not believe they're doing all of this just so they can be part of the competition. They want to win. And I love it when these skaters come out and they like, get out of my face. I want to win. I love it. Again, that's not everybody's cup of tea. There are some people who are like, that's poor sportsmanship. But to me, that is the highest form of respect you could give to your competitors. To tell them, I'm coming for you. I want this. Do you want it? And if you want it, step up. To me, if I'm coming to compete, I am not coming to be here. I don't want a participation medal. I want the medal. And these Canadian women were like, we want the medal. And you know, my dramatic self, I was here for it. I loved it. And Gabby came. Again, it was imperfect, but Gabby has one of the best triple toe in the business. And the fact that she's getting that jump back is amazing. Again, another skater that we've been through the journey with. We've been to the high, we've been to the ups, we've had questions of mental health, we've had questions of physical health, there's been injuries, but she consistently comes back. And this wasn't perfect. The long program, there was a lot of mistakes, but she fought. This was not a skater that was giving up at any moment. You could tell she wanted, when she was sitting in that kiss and cry, her heart, her soul, everything was there. She wanted it. And she tried to give everything she had for it. And I hope she continues. I want more Gabby letting you know you ain't getting rid of me next season. And then finally, Miss Over My Dead Body, Maddie. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never been a huge Maddie fan. I have never been a huge Madeline Skizas fan. I haven't. I'm not going to lie to you and say I have. But I'm a fan now. Why? Because I like a little attitude in my skaters. I like me a little diva. You guys know I do. Because why? You come here for the drama. You don't come here for the pristine. No, you come here for the Over My Dead Body. And again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I don't feel like she was disrespectful or unsportsmanlike in any way, shape, or form. Because she said, I respect her comeback. I respect the work and the effort that she put in. But over my dead body, was anyone else going to the Olympic? You know the Olympic, that's Maddie's house. If you need somebody who's going to show up for the Olympic, you know you call Miss Madeline. And she was letting y'all all know over my dead body. I loved it. Now I'm a Madeline fan. Now I'm Team Maddie over her dead body. I'm Team Maddie. And you know what? She put her effort and her talent where her mouth is. This was the best long program that we have seen from Maddie in 2 years. She didn't give up on a single jump. Everything that she could do to make sure that she secured that Olympic spot, she did. She came here with a purpose, and that purpose was to win. After the short program, she was at a deficit. But when your back is against the wall, that's when you know who the champions are. And Madeline was like, I'm that chick. And I respect that. I'm here for it, Maddie. That's right. Over your dead body, honey. Let them know. Overall, I was very happy with Canadian National. There was a little bit of heartache. There was a little bit of pain. There was a little bit of disappointment. But overall, there was so much joy. There was so much appreciation for the skaters and everything they did. I was very happy with Canadian National. You guys let me know in the comment what was your takeaway from Canadian National. And I will be putting a spotlight on my two women. Number one, Miss Gabby. You can't kill me, I'm a witch. And then Miss Maddie. Over my dead body. Yeah. Spotlight for my ladies. You guys let me know in the comment your takeaway.